Good morning, Amber and Keith. We thought we'd give you a update, a testimony about our experience with John and his second
Yes, good morning.
stroke.
Hope you're doing well. God bless.
So this happened a week after his birthday, in May, end of May. But leading up to that, 2 weeks beforehand, I had taken him to the doctor and asked that they check him out because he had an extreme mood change. He was very angry, wanted to beat the crap out of somebody in a car that went by and swerved towards us, which is totally not John. I had taken him to the doctor for that, and they're like, oh, and he had been having headaches too. But they said it was nothing and to just, go home. Then we were talking with our niece. We don't have children. He has a son, but we don't have any kids. But so we were talking to my niece a couple days before his stroke, and he was trying to say float plane pilot, and he could not say it. And that was another red flag to me because we have both been in EMS for 30 years, and we know the signs of stroke. Anyways, the morning he woke up, go ahead, John, you can tell about it.
The morning I woke up, I felt off, like kind of dizzy and just not myself. And we're getting ready to go to work. We work right here in our community. Both of us do.
Amazing bosses.
And took in,
time we had called in and said that John's not feeling good today. We're not going to make it in. And that's at like 6:00 in the morning.
Right.
And you got dressed, or no, you didn't get dressed. We just walked out and you were sitting in the living room. And he tried to get up, like an hour had passed or whatever, tried to get up to go to the bathroom and was stumbling more. Made it, and he's like, I need to go into the clinic. There's something wrong. I need to go in the clinic. And I said, well, let's go get you dressed and we'll go in. By the time, so this was maybe a couple hours after, so it was around 8:00 by that time. Right. By the time we live in a mobile home that is we lived, thank you, Lord, in a mobile home that was falling apart. It has holes in the floors, holes in the ceiling.
So we can relate.
So we definitely relate. We bought the mobile home 18 years ago for $800. That's what kind of shape it was in. Anyways, so we walked in. He sat on the bed, and I was getting him dressed, and he was unable to sit on the edge of the bed and started to slide. And he's like, you got to get me a chair. So I went and grabbed him a chair and then called 911, our local EMS, to come.
Because we live on an island out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say that. We live in Prince of Wales Island in southeast Alaska. So we have no hospital on our island. Anything that happens here, we go to the local clinic emergency room, and then we are flown off island. So by the time it took the people to get here with the ambulance, John had lost all mobility in his legs.
And functions. I peed on myself. Lost all.
Yes, he could move his hands. He could talk to us. The rest of his body, he could not help move at all. John weighs over 400 pounds at the time. And to get him out of our house, sorry, I'm shaking, having to retell this story. It's emotional. To get him out of the house took 7 people because he couldn't walk. Our porch is falling apart. That in itself, that our porch did not fall down with all 7 people standing on it, is amazing. That in itself is a miracle. So we got him on the stretcher, got him in the ambulance, and on the way, he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. No place to go to the bathroom. He couldn't stand up. So yes, he had lots of accidents on the way in. We got to the hospital in the doctor or emergency room clinic. And I'm like, he had what they said was a stroke back in 2019. And the doctor was asking me all sorts of questions about, does it look the same? And I'm like, no, this is definitely different. So they were able to do a CAT scan at our clinic. Go ahead.
Back in 2019, how that happened is I woke up and it was like somebody split my body in half. My whole left side was completely numb, but like pins and needles, like when your foot or your arm falls or your hand. And so, and then everything.
They did all the testing at the clinic, but they could not see that where he was having a stroke at that one. 3 months later, we got to go down to Swedish in Seattle, and the doctor just looked at him and said, "Of course you had a stroke. You're obese, you're diabetic, and you got high blood pressure. It was a stroke. Why are you even here?" Is exactly what he said. But anyways, fast forward, his numbness had gone away. We're pretty much
Pretty much
back to normal.
Back to normal, yeah.
By the time this stroke happened. And so we get to the clinic. They did a CAT scan on him, could not see a stroke because we didn't realize, but some strokes don't show up in CAT scans or MRIs. So by 11 o'clock in the afternoon, 11 o'clock we got to the clinic finally, because we're an hour away from the city or from our town.
Right.
We live in a community of 100 people. So they'd made the decision to ship him to Seattle. I didn't get to go. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, the next morning, horrible weather. He was taken on a jet to Seattle. A life flight to Bellingham, Washington, where he was in the hospital for a month. My side of the story is, here I am exhausted. I had been in the clinic in the emergency room all day. My sister-in-law came and picked me up, and I got home exhausted, went to bed. The next morning, we were so fearful. It was a scary, scary moment, but we were both praying about it. I had to kiss my husband goodbye, not knowing whether I would ever see him again. So it was really a scary moment. But the next morning, I woke up praying about it, constantly praying, and put on worship music. And I worshiped hours. I worshiped for 2 days straight, just singing out. And God gave me a painting, so I'm an artist. So I was doing my artwork and praising God, and that's how I got through it. And it was the most amazing peace that came over me. And God said, "It'll be okay."
And I was praying also down there, and everything was just like taken from my mind and stuff. I couldn't set up, and I had a wonderful little therapist girl down there. She goes,
"Yes, emotions are part of this.
Yes.
You will get emotional. It was a near-death experience. It's okay to be emotional." It's okay. So his physical therapist, I think this was a few days into it, came in. Oh, the next day? They wanted to try and get him to sit up in bed. He weighs over 400 pounds at the time. So to get him to roll over in bed, he couldn't really move. Slowly, he regained function in his legs. Are you okay?
Yeah. She told me, "We got to reset your brain. I want you to just sit in the middle of the bed, which will move everything from around you, and just think about setting up straight. Close your eyes." So the whole time I was praying and stuff, I sat there for maybe this is our little dog, Coco.
Emotional support.
And I prayed, and like 10 minutes went by, and it was just like a switch flipped and stuff, and I was able to set up, and I was trying to get out the bed, and she's like, whoa, I didn't say anything about walking yet. I said, "Well, I want to walk." She goes, "Well, let's grab a walker." And we started doing laps. And within probably 2 days, I was doing like 10, 15 laps around the hospital floor.
Able to get up and go to the bathroom on your own. Didn't have to have their help.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Didn't have to have anybody's help. I was able to get up and go do anything I needed to do without having help. And where we live at is all rock and
very uneven
ground.
We don't have paved roads in our community
and stuff. And Shelley thought that I would need more but the
physical
physical
therapy.
therapy because it's uneven and stuff. But
It was about 2 weeks in when they said you were ready to go home.
right,
And we both work at Island Care Services is the business, but we help out physical and mental disabilities people that need to get the help they need from the state. And so my boss was like, well, you better make sure he can walk on uneven. They got him walking around a hospital, but we better make sure he can walk on the rocks that we have here. And so I asked them to keep him in the hospital while they searched for a rehab place, because not being able to see him, being that many miles away and not being able to see him actually get up and move around and how well he was doing, I had that fear in me. And so, and we did have a scary moment. John was able to video chat with me the next day. So he went to Ketchikan and stayed a day there before they got him down to Bellingham. They gave him hard tacos to eat. Here is a man that just had a stroke and you're going to give him hard tacos. And I'm video chatting with him and he starts choking on a taco shell. Very scary. But anyways, we got to Bellingham, found a rehab place in Ketchikan that we could fly him back up to and go to rehab. He could stay at the hospital there and go through rehab. We are both on Medicaid, by the way, so it's all whatever we could do through the state. So God is just so awesome during this whole time, though, because we already had a house being built for us that would be wheelchair accessible by our bosses. Our boss, God somehow put this into their heart to build us a house. We've known them. I've known Heidi for, well, we both known Heidi for
we've been married for
30 years. And her husband that she now has. They're amazing people, have a beautiful heart, and God is doing amazing things through them. There's another testimony in there. We won't even get into it. But while John was in the hospital, they were working extra hard to get our house finished. It had the roof on it. We were just doing interior stuff, trying to get everything done so that I was hoping he could go from the hospital straight into the new house, not even have to deal with holes in the floor and trying to step over a hole to get into the house on the porch. And it was just falling apart. But
anyway, the therapist and stuff says we can have you walk all over the place on this nice flat surface, but until you actually get out into where you're going to be walking constantly, your brain has to map all that stuff for you. And when I got back,
like
it took me
reprogram.
Yeah, it has to
how she was
reprogram your
explaining
brain.
it.
When I got back and stuff, it took me that night to get my brain.
He stumbled only a couple times
in the trailer, and then it was fine and stuff. And our new house, the pathway we have to get here, you got to go over a big rock.
It goes up over a rock and then down to the house. It's a lot of limestone here. We don't have dirt. We have limestone chunks, big old boulders. So when they built the house, we wanted it on top of the limestone, but it was unfeasible. So they went down and behind it, which it's going to be so beautiful when we get the landscaping done. Anyways, so yeah, so we finally got the house done in October. So that was June. He got to come home right before 4th of July. I flew down to Washington. And after going from Bellingham in a little plane to SeaTac Airport, and then from SeaTac Airport to Ketchikan Airport, he had already been on and off planes, maneuvering that. And I'm like, you're good to go.
Walking with a cane.
We can go home. Why are we even stopping? And so he spent a night in Ketchikan, and then we came home. We were like, you're good to go.
When I first got there, the person that was in charge was like, you need to use a walker. And I'm like, I've already graduated to
I'm graduated to a cane. I don't want to go backwards.
I'm not going back to a walker. I'm not going backwards in this thing and stuff. And then their idea of being a diabetic and stuff is they take and feed you stuff and then they adjust an insulin, because when you're in a hospital, they don't give you pills, they give you insulin.
We had been a year and a half on the carnivore diet, losing weight.
Right. And
Yet they wanted to feed him
they brought me
oatmeal,
French
bananas,
toast.
and French toast for breakfast.
That's what they brought me. And I was like, this is garbage. I can't eat this. I'm a diabetic. We'll adjust your insulin. I'm like, no, we're not. I'm out of here.
So I already had a flight back home to our island, but he didn't. So he got on the ferry by himself, which is a
3-hour ferry ride.
3-hour ferry ride. And so my car was at the airport, so I went and got the car and then drove to the ferry terminal to pick him up. And then I got to learn that he fell at the ferry. But thank you, Lord, so much we live in such a small area, small community, that we had people from our community were at the ferry and were able to help him, stayed with him, an awesome neighbor. And so helped him up, went and got him his food when he needed it, while he's on the ferry. And it was just a beautiful experience there. And everybody is just amazed. They saw him when he left and couldn't move.
My boss helped me out of the house.
Oh, he was one of them, yeah, on our EMS.
I was here at the house